Hey everyone, Lewis aka Spider-Man 1991 here, and I'm going to give you my review of Justice League. Warning, there are spoilers in this review. If you do not want to be spoiled, turn off this video and go see the movie. So I'm going to give you a short summary. I'm going to talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and get into a final verdict. Batman, Wonder Woman gather the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman together so they can fight Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf plans to gather all three of Earth's mother boxes so that he can open a portal and summon his army to conquer Earth. During the adventure, Batman figures out how they could use Cyborg's mother box, which is the one that we saw previously in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, to resurrect Superman. And once Superman gets resurrected, all the heroes are able to stop Steppenwolf and save the day. Okay, what did I like about this movie? Well, if this movie's goals were to create a more hopeful direction for the DC extended universe and also create more enjoyable versions of their heroes, then I would say they checked off those boxes on the list. Did I like this movie? Is it good? Yes. Does it have are there problems with the story? Yeah, of course there are, because this movie had to go through a bunch of reshoots. Ben Affleck is still an awesome Batman. I still think he's probably one of the best on-screen live-action Batman that we've had. This movie, Batman's still dealing with his guilt over the death of Superman. And of course, when a solution presents itself that they could bring Superman back, of course Batman's willing to go for it. Not just because of a tactical reason, I think, but also because he has been surrounded by death his entire life. Let's face it, this Batman lost his parents. He lost Robin, which we all know is Jason Todd from the scene in BVS. So now Batman has a chance to correct this, which is why he's probably so eager to bring Superman back. Also, what's interesting is that while Batman is the one that pretty much puts this team together, he admits that he's not the right person to lead them, and Bruce Wayne often tries to delegate this role to Diana, aka Wonder Woman. Oh yeah, if you loved Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, you're still gonna love her in this movie. She is awesome. Wonder Woman's main struggle for this movie is really just trying to be more in the spotlight in a way, because she's still saving people, she's still helping them, but she's largely doing it without any recognition, or just show up, take care of the bad guys, then get out as soon as ASAP. And also, she's also a good counter to Bruce's intentions for bringing back Superman. Even though Bruce wants to bring Superman back, Diana is against it. She believes that it would be wrong and that probably Superman's at peace, but Bruce is still insistent that, we gotta do this, we need every single big gun we can get. And of course when during this argument, Batman actually brings up Steve Trevor, and that causes Diana to lash out. And that was a very good scene. It was, because up to that point, we had seen Bruce and Diana working very well together, and that's really the only conflict that they have, and Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot did it beautifully. Alright, now moving to the new guys. One of my biggest concerns for Justice League, though, was Ezra Miller's Flash, mainly because I love the Flash TV show and I love Grant Gustin's portrayal of the Flash, and I was worried that, are we gonna get the same thing? Is it gonna be very far different? What was gonna be the difference that separated Miller's Flash from Gustin's? And fortunately, though, they do a different version in this film, and it works, because for the Justice League, Flash is definitely the rookie on the team, and Ezra Miller did that role perfectly. The main difference, I think, between the TV Flash and the movie Flash is that movie Flash is just barely getting his life together in a way. Because at the beginning of the movie, we find out that Barry's still working for his degree, and he doesn't even have a job at any crime lab in Central City. So he's still kind of trying to get there. And also, he's never really fought anyone before, which he confesses to Batman, although that does kind of question how he got Captain Boomerang arrested in Suicide Squad. Okay, but let's not talk about that crappy movie. They definitely made Barry the rookie of the team. Eventually, though, Barry does grow as a character. He's eager to learn from these older heroes that he's paired up with, and eventually, though, by the end of the movie, he does manage to get a job at the Central City Crime Lab, probably because of a letter of recommendation Batman had Commissioner Gordon write for him. Also, not just characterized, but another difference between movie Flash and the TV Flash is that the powers are a little different, because the way in Justice League, the way Flash moves, it's pretty much instantaneous. When we see it from Barry's point of view about how he runs and everything's still most of the time, but when we see it from everyone else's perspective, it's just almost like teleporting in a way. which is something that, you know, is sort of different from what we see usually on the Flash TV series. But nevertheless, Ezra Miller did a good job differentiating his version of the Flash from Grant Gustin's, and still make the character awesome, which is fantastic. Ray Fisher does an excellent job bringing Cyborg to the big screen. Fisher does a great job showing the character's transformation, because when we see Cyborg at the beginning of the movie, he's pretty much a recluse. The world thinks Victor Stone is dead. He's living in his father's apartment. Victor Stone has cut off all physical contact with everyone except his father, and mainly because of his new cybernetics, he can hear like every conversation, he's pretty much wired into the internet 24/7. Fisher does a good job showing Cyborg's transformation from a self-loather to a hero. Victor is very resistant to his powers. He thinks they're a curse and wishes he was dead. But then when his father gets kidnapped by the parademon, he finally realizes that, you know, he's got to do something, so he teams up with Batman, Flash, and Wonder Woman to go save his dad, and through that process he learns that he can use these things for good and become a hero. And Ray Fisher, he's a great actor, and after seeing him in this movie, I am honestly still excited. I am very sure that he will do an excellent job in the Cyborg solo film, which hopefully is still on the table, because right now, because of Justice League's reactions, people are saying that the future of the DCEU is in doubt. But Ray Fisher's an awesome actor, and he would do an excellent job with his own movie. Another character that I really didn't think I had to worry about was Jason Momoa's Aquaman. He was probably, for me, the breakout character of this movie. He's just so fun and cool. Jason Momoa brings a lot of charm and charisma to the King of Atlantis. And even though we already know that Wonder Woman and Batman are getting sequels, we do know that there's still the Aquaman movie coming out in December of next year. And I'm really looking forward to it because of Momoa's performance. We didn't really get a lot into his backstory, though, in this movie, which is kind of a good thing, which for me is kind of a good thing, because I think that leaves more opportunities to explore in the solo movie. All we know about him is just that he is the son of the dead Queen of Atlantis, his heir to the throne, but he hasn't taken that responsibility seriously, and there are some issues he has about his mother, which when he goes to speak to Mara about it when Atlantis is under attack from Steppenwolf, you do find out he does have issues about his mother, which makes sense because she did abandon him and his father. So I think the mystery behind this leaves a lot more to get into for the solo film. It gives fans a reason to look forward to it when it comes out next year. Another thing I liked about this movie was Henry Cavill's performance as Superman. I gotta admit, once Superman comes back to life, okay, that's not really Superman coming back to life. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, it's not a spoiler, okay? It's not. We all knew it. Anyone that's ever heard of Death of Superman knows that he's gonna come back. Right when he was brought back to life, Henry Cavill was just more comfortable I've ever seen him as Superman than in his previous two appearances in the DC universe. Even though I love Man of Steel, this movie just was probably Henry Cavill's best performance as Superman. Because by the time he comes into battle with Steppenwolf, he's got a number of great lines, and he just acts more like the Superman that I think everyone expects. He's way more optimistic, and it is just fantastic. And it makes me look for, and Henry Cavill is contractually obligated to make another Superman movie, so I really hope that they can get this same type of magic that he brought into this movie will be in that movie, be in the Man of Steel sequel, and it will be so good, because I really loved his performance in this movie. And of course, though, one of the big issues I think with the people have with the DCU is that it's too dark, and yeah, you definitely get that in the opening monologue of this movie. You start to see that the world is very depressing, and just to kind of give us this impression that, okay, once Superman died, hope died, which is kind of messed up. But thankfully, by the end of the movie, once the Justice League stopped Steppenwolf, they pretty much give us another montage that shows everybody's happy and the world is a lot more brighter and there's more hope in it. And I think that's going to be the direction for the DCEU that fans have been wanting, and it looks like it will be fantastic. Alright, I've talked about what I liked about the movie. Now I'm going to talk about the bad, what I didn't like. Okay, so this movie is exactly 1 hour and 59 minutes. A lot of things were cut, a lot, and you can tell. First of all, Willem Dafoe was meant to appear as Vulko, who is a big Aquaman supporting character. If you Vulko is basically Atlantis' main science advisor, and he's also a mentor to Aquaman. In the movie, after Superman comes back to life and has a brief scuffle with the heroes, he leaves with Lois, who kind of helps him onto the road to recovery, so to speak, and it's pretty much rushed. There's only like one other scene before he joins the rest of the League in battle with the Steppenwolf, which is what we saw where he was in the cornfield and he sort of gets his memories back and everything. That really felt rushed. I think they could have done a lot more with it. In fact, if you remember from the previous trailers, Alfred was visited by someone in the Batcave, and obviously that was Superman, now that we know that. And I'm pretty sure that was the scene where Superman gets his suit back, because because right when I saw him in his suit again, I kind of realized, wait, did Martha or Lois keep it? Because I don't think that either one of them would have kept the suit, because it would probably be too painful for either of them. But honestly, the whole Superman post-resurrection thing, it definitely felt rushed, and I think they could have done a lot more with that. But unfortunately, I think the reason why they decided to cut a lot of things and get to a shortened runtime is because of because of the number of people who complained about Batman v Superman's runtime. Because Batman v Superman was 2.5 hours long for its theatrical cut, and the Ultimate Director's Edition, which included a lot of things that were essential to the plot, was about 3 hours long. So obviously, because of a lot of people, even though superhero movies are fun, a lot of them do have a lot of exposition. That means longer runtime. So I think this time Warner Brothers decided, okay, we're going to cut some stuff out that just to get reduced so that hopefully more people could see it. Yeah, obviously it didn't work well because of the opening weekend box office numbers. Now, another thing that I really hated in this movie was Steppenwolf. He is just a terrible villain, okay? He is just a literal MacGuffin. That's all he is. He basically does the same thing that Loki was doing in the Avengers, which is basically setting up the bigger threat, i.e., because in Avengers, Loki was just basically a lead for Thanos, and in this movie, Steppenwolf definitely just setting up Darkseid. Now, the only difference between Loki and Steppenwolf is that Loki was actually entertaining. Steppenwolf was just dull. He's a very dull villain. He's just like, oh, I got the mother boxes, I'm gonna summon the army and destroy Earth, blah, blah, blah. And also, he's entirely CGI. The CGI on Steppenwolf felt worse than the ones used to cover up the super stash. Honestly, the only things that I have to complain about this movie are the scenes that were cut out that felt probably essential, and Steppenwolf, because he just isn't that fun of a villain to watch. You could probably just like substitute Steppenwolf for just a giant brainless lizard dragon spaghetti monster, and it wouldn't matter. It would just be, you just need like, honestly, I feel like for a villain, the writers just went like, hey, we need some big threat for the League to fight, but we can't use Darkseid yet. Why don't we just use Steppenwolf? Okay, fine. How should we write him? I don't know, just say he wants to destroy everything. Okay, good. Come on, I honestly like it how villains can have depth, but Steppenwolf just didn't have anything at all, and he was just boring and dull, just the worst. Okay, what is my final verdict for this movie? Well, the runtime and the plot feel a lot like an extended episode of the Justice League animated series. And you know what? I'm okay with that. This movie helped establish a more hopeful direction for the DC Extended Universe, and I think that's something that fans have been wanting, and it looks good. It has great and fun interpretations for a number of well-known DC heroes that are also enjoyable. Unfortunately, though, it does suffer from a very terrible villain, and I don't mean terrible as in evil, terrible as in the worst character. I'd probably want to see this movie again one more time in theaters, and I would definitely buy the Blu-ray once it's out. So what did you guys think of Justice League? Let me know in the comments below. Did you agree or disagree with anything I brought up in this video? Also, if you want some comic book recommendations based on this movie, check out that video, which should be up in about a day or so after this one. I'll put a link up here once it's uploaded. Thank you again for watching. Follow me on my social media. Links are in the description below. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.